Jen, it's great to have you on the show. You are one of the few people who I know of who has not only never been on the show, but also has been the topic of many a conversation that goes something like, you know who should really do a solo album? That Jen Ledger girl from Skillet. She should do something solo by herself. She could carry it. I agree.
Are you serious?
I
Oh my gosh, that's so nice to hear.
Yeah,
I love that.
I kid you not. I mean,
well,
so
it's about
many
time
conversations.
that I'm on the show then.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about time I'm here. Perfect. This is long overdue, Paul.
Yes, for sure. So, I mean, most people do know you as the drummer for Skillet and, for doing vocals with Skillet as well. And you've made quite a name for yourself as being that girl who can really sing in Skillet. And it's been fun to watch you, I guess, almost grow up because you were pretty young when you started in Skillet, weren't you?
Totally, yeah. I mean, I auditioned for Skillet when I was 17 years old, and my first show was right after my 18th birthday on Winter Jam tour. So I got into the band, and not only were John and Corey teaching me how to be a professional musician, they taught me what a sound check was, they taught me all of that, but they were also teaching me how to pay my bills. They were teaching me how to get ready to buy a car. It was very much so I stepped into adulthood, and they've really, in some ways, kind of guided me and in a weird way parented me, because I had no idea how to be an adult. And not only that, I had only just become a Christian, 12 to 14 months before I got in the band.
Oh, wow.
And so they were training me in really discipling me in every area of life, and training me how to be a believer and to live for Jesus. So it was a really intense season getting into Skillet. It was such a whirlwind, and I'm just so happy to have been a part of it all this time and to keep going. I'm not leaving Skillet with my new side project. A lot of people are panicking about it, what do you mean? I'm no, Skillet, going to be doing both things, and it is really cool. It's really cool to 10 years on sort of step out and be writing my own music too.
Yeah, for sure. Well, in a way, I kind of get it. I mean, there's been some talented people who have been a part of Skillet who kind of started at a somewhat young age, who did move on to other things, be it music or not. But I am most definitely one of the people who's happy that you are staying in Skillet, but I'm glad to see you spread your wings and do something on your own as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It is an exciting season, and I love the way it's ended up working out, because I've basically signed to John and Corey's label, and they've been the ones that trained me in my writing over the last 6 years. I came to them and I said, hey, I really feel like I'm meant to be writing my own music. Will you guys teach me how to do this? And so they really took me under their wing, and then 6 years later, it's Corey produced the EP, so it's her debut producing with Seth Mosby, and then I've got John Cooper featured on one of the songs, and then I'm signed to their label. So it's very much so a unit, we're all doing this as a team, and though it's my project, it feels like they're so behind me and so a part of it. It just almost feels like a different branch or a different perspective, and but it's all very much so together, and we got to tour together just on this for King and Country Joy Unleashed tour, and it was so cool to open up the night with Ledger, and then for King and Country would come on and play, and then I'd close the night with Skillet, and I had Corey and John on stage with me for my band, and then we were all going up to close out the night, and honestly, it was just so surreal and so fun, and after all these years kind of working towards it, it was incredibly thrilling to kind of have it all play out like that. It felt like a surreal dream or something.
For sure. Now, I know that I'm not the only person who is of the opinion that, you definitely could carry a project on your own, especially vocally. But what was the reason behind now? Why now choose to put out this EP after being told for a while that this was something that you could probably do? Yeah,
well, truth is, not like I heard that much, that's super nice to hear. It's just so cool and encouraging, It was about 6 years ago that I felt like I was noticing my eyes were open to just the power of music. We were touring the world, and the amount of people that were like, I was going to kill myself because I heard the song the last night, or I've been addicted to heroin, and then I heard the song, and now I've been sober for 2 years, and my eyes were really open to the power of music. And at the same time, I was noticing a lot of girls would say, hey, I started to learn drums because of you, or hey, I changed my hair because of you. And I think I just kind of realized, like, oh, wow, God's really using me to, like, influence people, and he's given me a platform where it can help guide young people or be an influence to young people. And so it just felt like, oh my gosh, I think that God's asking me or stirring in my heart that he wants me to be writing my own music, basically to use the platform to be a bit more specific and a bit more vocal. And so that was when I asked the Coopers to train me. But obviously, I mean, I was a beginner, right? Like, some songs were way too rock, some songs were way too pop, and it's like, for me, I was just excited if I finished a song, but actually, like, crafting it well was a whole other thing. So it's been 6 years of training and getting not only getting the songs right, but also getting the sound right and making the project actually really reflect me as a musician. We wanted to keep the edge of being a part of a touring rock band for 10 years, but also kind of reflect my softer side too, with some of my pop influences. And I feel like we were definitely sure we didn't want to do Skillet Part B.
Right.
You know, we really wanted this to be unique to me. And that's a lot of what took the time, actually, was developing that. And I feel like in the last, 2 years, it started to really take shape, and it was its own project, with its own identity. And so, yeah, it did take a long time, but looking back, I just see, like, God's hand in all of it too, because who I was at 22 was way different to who I am at 28. And he's really, I feel like I know who I am in him more now. Mm-hmm. And I have things to say because I've been working with him for longer. And that's been a wonderful journey. And in some ways, I'm glad it took longer, though I wouldn't have felt that way 3 years ago. Right. Now I look back and I'm like, you know what? You've done so much in my work with you. And I know who you are better now than for sure than I did a few years ago. So it's kind of like beautiful too to see just his like hand in all of it. It sounds like such a cheesy answer, but it's just the truth. He knows what he's doing, and there's a reason. Like, sometimes you don't know why doors aren't opening, and now I just see like he's just done so much, and it feels awesome to finally see it rolling and to know that it was him.
Fantastic. One of the most fun parts about getting to talk to you, not only because we've never talked before and because you got this new record, is because just mere hours before this interview got set up, we got notified that your song Not Dead Yet went to #1 on the Christian rock charts, which is super cool for anybody, much less somebody who's putting out their first project. But tell us about that song.
Yeah, it's crazy. This song is so dear to me. About 3 years ago, something really weird happened. I started struggling with panic attacks and like severe anxiety. Mm-hmm. I had never been through anything like it. It was such a weird like season, and I was like, who am I? This isn't me. What is going on? And after wrestling through that, and like, I thought that was so weird. It was so intense. Surely that's not something I'll have to deal with again.
Yeah.
So like last year, I felt those kind of old feelings start to come back, and I came off stage with Skillet, and I was basically crying to Corey because I was like, oh my gosh, after all these, I can't believe I'm having those feelings of panic come up now after everything I've wrestled through, and I thought I had victory in this. Like, what if this is something that doesn't ever totally go away,
Mm-hmm.
I just felt kind of defeated, and it was when I was getting prepared for the solo project, and it was like that moment of like, if you panic like this still after performing for this long, then surely you shouldn't be stepping out in these things, And Cora just looked at me, she said, Jen, you got to fight. You've got to fight fear until the day that you die. And while there's breath in your lungs, you do not ever give up on stepping out into the calling that God has for you. And you don't let fear rob you of that. And so that was like what the song was birthed out of, was that conversation of just realizing it's okay if I struggle, and it's okay if these things come back up. But what I can't let happen is I can't let fear just rob me of my own life and stop me from stepping out into things that God's calling me to. He's ready for you to have the victory in it, and you've got to press through and find him and ask him to meet you in it. But sometimes fear just makes you want to give up before you even try, and that's what the song's about. Like, just don't let it stop you from fighting for the victory he has waiting for you, you know, and I hope that makes sense, but it's one of those songs that's so dear to me, and it's kind of, it feels a bit prophetic that it would be the first song and it's the first single, and it's basically about stepping out into a solo career when sometimes you still struggle with being afraid.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And it's a great track, and I'm excited that it's doing well, not only for you, but I'm glad that people are just enjoying it and latching onto it.
Thank you so much. I'm excited too. I only just saw someone tweeted me saying it got to #1 on Christian rap, and I'm like, what? And I just checked it before my interviews, and I thought, I don't know if that's right. I'll wait and see if the person that's confirmed it. So I'm pretty excited. Like, oh, it is true then. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Now, whenever we have a guest on the show, we usually play a second song aside from whatever's charting or is the official single. Is there another song off the EP that you would like us to play that is a favorite of yours right now?
Ooh, a secret favorite I'm feeling today, because I was just listening to it in the car, would be the song Foreigner.
Okay.
If you're up for playing that, that would make me very happy.
Sure, absolutely. And can you tell us just like a brief thing about that song?
Yeah, totally. When I wrote the song Foreigner, I was like thinking and praying about the fact that, you know, our lives aren't here on Earth, and we've got to be building up treasure eternally and focusing on things eternally and not on things here. Mm-hmm. And there's a scripture about how we're foreigners and sojourners in this land, you know. And so I kind of just wanted to write about how the fact that there's no amount of wealth or fame or success, there is nothing that is anywhere near comparable to what I have in Jesus. And so basically you can ask whatever the world has to offer. I don't ever want to belong in it, and I never want to embrace it, and I never want to be working towards those things. I want to keep my eyes fixed on him, and that's what I live for.
Very cool. I like that. Now, I mean, you've got a #1 song already. You of course have been a member of Skillet for a long time. The record's out. What's next for you at this point?
I'm actually working on getting the music videos. We're not dead yet done. We're going to be filming in a couple of days.
Okay.
And then Skillet's heading to Europe to do the European festivals.
Okay.
And then we're coming back, and hopefully the Skillet album will be out in the next 6 to 8 months, and we'll be following that up with the Ledger full-length LP, which will be coming out following the Skillet release. So It's going to be a really busy 12 months for us, but we are all pumped and we're all excited. It's like we're just running and we're just going for it.
Very cool, very cool. Well, there's one question that I always like to end with, especially with people who have never been on the show before. You're the drummer of an internationally touring rock band that's got platinum records and tons of success. Now you're a solo artist as well. But what would you say is the most un-rock and roll thing about you?
Oh my gosh, I feel like I have a million of those things. Un-rock and roll. The most un-rock and roll thing about me. I love kids movies.
Okay.
Hugely. So like Kung Fu Panda is literally my favorite movie. I love to paint and I love to draw. So when I'm home, often you'll see me either sketching or painting. I'm not knitting though. I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, it could be worse, right? I'm trying to think. My favorite thing in the world to do is sit at home and watch Netflix and eat chocolate. I'm pathetic. It's certainly not rock and roll. So you're welcome, everybody.
I don't know. It sounds like a pretty decent evening to me. I'm maybe that makes me.
I know, right? Let's face it. Secretly, we all want to be those people that get to have a Netflix and chill night. We all love it.
That's right. That's right. Well, very cool. Thank you so much for spending time with us. It's been a huge pleasure. I'm thoroughly thrilled that you're getting a chance to share your music, not just the music that you get to create with Skillet, but stuff that is personal to you, and that it's doing well. And hopefully this is just the beginning for you.
Oh, man, I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much for having me. I've had a great time.
Absolutely.